Yeah, right. You're part of basement hard luck. Basement hard luck. Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. You're part of basement hard luck. Basement hard luck. Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Hard Luck Show. I'm your certified, qualified Westside host, Steve Lucky Luciano. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You have tuned into the greatest show on earth. It's the Hard Luck Show coming at you from the Pico Youth and Family Center in Southern California.
Come on.
Santa Monica, California, to be exact. Sitting across from me, my co-host and my partner
is Chumahan Bowen, American Indian, Southern California, elegant barbarian, the sadistic one, here to bring the dark side once again.
Yeah, that's good.
Come on.
And we got Sean Lewis on sound. Right, Sean?
That's right.
Blue eyes.
Sean Lewis,
I think so.
certified audio professional, engineer for the Hard Luck Show, baby.
Beating up homeless, one homeless man at a time.
Step to me at a bagel shop.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, motherfucker. What?
And showrunner extraordinaire, Mr. Schwartz.
Yes, sir. Yeah, bring me those slow groove fucking.
Don't bring up.
Hey, don't bring up relatives that come to my house with COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or else I'm gonna
Get my ass handed to me by Megan.
all the time. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Oh,
And,
who's bringing those visuals, man? Who's bringing those visuals?
Ali with the visuals. Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. 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 How you doing, Ali?
All good. You already know. Visuals. Ali, that's me.
Yeah. Ali, that's me.
Ali, that's me.
Ali, that's
That's it. You know what time it is?
You know what time it is.
What do we got?
We got some death.
West side.
Where is Lepke?
Where's
Seriously,
Lepke?
where is this guy?
Where's
You gotta tell him-
Lepke?
Dude, he only lives on this show in fucking sound bites. You got to get him in here, man.
I know, bro.
Right.
Fucking
from
Lepke, Big
Philadelphia,
Lep,
yeah.
2022. Sounds like a fucking
heart.
presidential.
Yeah, where's Lepke, dude?
Here, I'm going to run a video right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Where is Lepke? Right?
Yeah, where's Lepke? Where's Lepke?
Where's Lepke? We're all looking for Lepke. We can't get a hold of him. He won't come on the show.
Where's Lepke? I heard you and everybody's got something really important for him. I heard you guys might have some merch or whatever.
Here, let me send that to Lepke.
Yeah, tell him to call if he's available. Tell him to call in. We'll get him on.
What's
Yeah.
going? Do you know what's going on with him?
I'm trying to get a handle on it and see what's good right now.
Have you seen his Instagram posts?
I have. Hold on a second here.
Lucky.
All right, there. I just hit him.
Lucky.
Hey, give us a call.
Right.
All right. So, right. Yeah. Yeah, man. Trying to catch up with that guy so he can bring us up to speed with what's going on with him.
Look, bro.
Hey, I heard that he's going to be in the live show with It's All Bad, January 14th. He's going to be there.
Yes. He is going to be
Yes, he is going to be there.
there. We're doing the live show, you guys.
Right.
So, I need everybody.
Silver Lake, Echo Plex.
Echo Plex in Silver Lake, you guys. It's All Bad podcast. Special appearance by Lucky and Lepke.
And you guys are going to start it off. That's what Keith and Danny were saying when they were
Well,
in.
man, shit.
So get there early.
Get there early.
Right.
Get ready.
You guys are going to kick it
Chumahan
off.
will be there signing autographs.
I
Yes,
will
he
be
will be
there.
in the
I
front
will
row.
be there in the front row.
Yes, he will be.
I'll be doing like
Sean will
hand
be there,
signals.
too.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Oh, Blue Eyes will be there. Schwartz, are you going to be there?
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Are you
Yep.
sure, given the pandemic, you'll be allowed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, unless there's a, shutdown, I'll be there.
All right. Ali, are you going to the live event?
Dick in the cup.
We bought you headphones so you could listen to the show
January
while you
14th.
fucking film.
January 14th.
Ali. You need to get into this. He's eating an apple.
14th.
Yeah.
Don't trip, OG.
Okay.
The Duke Major Tobacco.
Yeah.
Duke Major Tobacco.
So, all right.
All right.
Let's talk about the headlines real quick. Maybe
Let's do this.
we were notified that John Madden had passed away, 85 years old, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he is synonymous with the word NFL or the acronym NFL. I mean, there isn't anybody that is
Boom, boom, boom.
right. There's nobody more football than John Madden.
Madden. No,
Yeah.
that's true. They name a fucking digital football game. And you don't even refer to it as that. You refer to it as Madden.
Correct.
They don't even say, I'm going to play football on fucking the Xbox. They go, oh, we're playing Madden.
Right.
Now that's fucking...
Right. And
How
I've
much
read
money did that guy make off of that?
it's reported that he was worth $200 million when he passed away.
Fuck.
$200 million. You got to remember,
He
this
wasn't
was
even on TV anymore.
No.
No. First of all, his career has three phases. If I think about it, first of all, let's turn to the two football heads in the room. First, I'll go with Schwartz, since he actually played football. Blue Eyes. So I don't mean to rub that in, but this guy slipped a disc or whatever. But he played football for Odessa.
Correct. Yeah.
All right.
I did.
You're right. Defensive tackle. What was
Correct.
it?
Yeah.
All right. Pass rush.
Yeah.
Chop and
Getting
chop.
after quarterbacks, man.
Yep. Chop move.
I would have made the All Madden team.
You would have.
I would have, because there is a certain type of player that makes the All Madden team.
And what kind of player is that?
The All Madden team. Let me just give you Jack Youngblood. You know who Jack Youngblood
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
You know what he's known for, right? He's known for playing with a broken leg.
Right.
And Madden, the All Madden team, when it came out, I think it first in 1994,
All right.
was made up of guys who were tough, didn't give a shit. They'd have fucking, grass in the side of their helmet, blood on their jersey.
Right.
Not always the best guys. They were all great, but they were tough and they fucking played the game the right way, which was important to John Madden.
Smash mouth football.
Smash mouth football.
Now let me ask you this: what is the All Madden team for Mr. and Mrs. Earbuds who might not know? They might not know what the NFL. I'm imagining that fucking Ali doesn't know what the All Madden team is. Ali, do you know what the All Madden team is?
No.
Okay, he doesn't know.
Okay, so every year, let me just give you this. He actually summed it up himself.
Good.
And
Go.
he said, what does it mean to be All Madden? It's a whole range of things. For defensive linemen and linebackers, it's about Jack Youngblood playing with a busted leg, Lawrence Taylor wreaking havoc on the offense, and Reggie White making the other guy wish he put a little more in the collection plate at church. It's about a guy who's got a dirty uniform, mud on his face, and grass in the ear hole of his helmet.
Right. Okay, so what is the All Madden team, though? What is it?
So the All Madden team consists of, he would take really every position, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receiver, offensive lineman. That was something that he really highlighted. He highlighted the big uglies.
All right. Okay, I get that, but what is it? Like, so we got it. He went and picked his personal perfect players,
Correct.
right? But where would they play, or who knew about it, or what was the deal?
Well, actually, when it first started to come out, they would come out with it on, like, friggin' national news and talk about the All Madden team being the selections for the All Madden team. He would do it like a press briefing.
Got it.
And he would come out and say, okay, got it. And he would give a little tidbit about the guys. I mean, you have some of the original ones. Actually, I was mistaken. It was 1984 when he started doing it. Joe Montana, believe it or not, was a quarterback on the All Madden team. But again, he highlighted guys, and he would, even during the broadcast, he would talk about guys that prior to him were not talked about. The offensive lineman. He would talk about some guy knocking off fucking 4 hot dogs in the stands. He would take his telestrator out and be like, oh, look at this guy. He's eating 3 hot dogs. He's got mustard on the shirt.
Right.
The guy fucking made the All Madden crowd.
So in a sense, Madden was so synonymous with football that he created his own MVP.
Yeah.
Right? The press corps, and he didn't need to turn to a bunch of journalists and all this other bullshit to do some voting. He created his own fucking elite team. Did it change the careers of any of the guys he talked about?
Oh, 100% it did, and it let guys, because there were a lot of people that were attracted to that type of football prior to John Madden coming out and doing an All Madden Team. So it really spoke to fans like myself, because I was always a fan of that type of stuff. When I played, it was the same type of thing. So he really brought that.
What injury did you play with?
What injury did I play with? I played with 2 broken ribs before.
You did?
Yeah, I played with 2 broken ribs. It was one of the most painful things I've ever had. Every time the ball was snapped and I hit an offensive guard, it was ridiculous pain. And
where would the pain be?
Oh, the whole side. I mean, everything. Breathing. Every fucking move. I mean, have you ever had a busted rib?
Yeah, don't ask me if I had a busted rib. I'm trying to get people to live through your experience, motherfucker, because we're on a podcast.
Every time, if you have a busted rib, even if you have, like, torn rib cartilage, you can't fucking sit down. You can't breathe. You can't do anything. So
and you were playing.
Yeah, you were playing a game. It happened in the second quarter, and it was actually a game against Crenshaw.
Against Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Is it true there was a switchblade involved?
No, but I'll tell you this: when we went to go play Crenshaw, we literally had to roll up to the field with our helmets on and shit.
Why?
Because they were concerned about like shootings and violence and shit. We had to come to the game fully dressed with our helmets on the bus. Because it was like that back in the day.
Why are you laughing, Big
I'm
Lucks?
telling you, man. It's.
I
really
could just see them
was.
crossing from West LA into like South Central. All right, guys, put your helmets on.
Bro, seriously.
We're in South Central.
Oh, it's South. You guys saw Boys in the Hood, right? You guys are gonna have to.
You guys
come
saw
out.
Platoon? Put your helmets on.
Dude,
Yeah, because a football helmet will stop a bullet.
it wasn't even playing Crenshaw wasn't even that bad. When we played Dorsey in the playoffs and they came to us, it was like you never seen that much security. Fuck, I think they had metal detectors and shit. I mean, I don't know, but it was all
right,
crazy.
Awesome. So going back to John Madden, right? Thank you for that. Going back to John Madden, here's a quote when he talks about linemen, because you know what? I was reading up on him and he was talking about.
Yeah.
He says, listen, everybody knows when a lineman jumps offside because they announce the number and he gets a penalty. And he's like, but you know what? Motherfuckers don't ever know when they do something right. And he's like, he was committed to pointing out as part of his telestrator, which is that thing he writes on the TV with, right? He popularized that. That was part of what he was trying to do, was to point out some of the stuff that these guys would never get any shout outs to show what they were doing right. Right? And this is a direct quote. And I believe this because I'm a fucking fan of the Seahawks. And they have the shittiest offensive line. I mean, you might as well just fucking put up a bunch of dead bodies with no legs and put them in the front. And this is what it is. Quote, unless you have an offensive line that can do it, it's all academic, says Madden. You can draw up all the best pass patterns in the world. And they say, boy, what a genius. But if you don't have 5 guys there that can block those guys that are rushing, your quarterback is going to be looking out his ear hole. And he's goddamn right.
Straight
That's
up.
the beginning. So, go ahead.
He highlighted one of the biggest offensive linemen who was in that huge Cowboys run in the early 90s, Nate Newton. And he was this big guy, never got any shine, never got anything, but it was John Madden that really was highlighting all his pancake blocks, all this shit.
What's a pancake block?
Pancake block is when an offensive lineman goes to block somebody and literally fucking puts them flat on their back. That's like the best thing. Like you have a defensive lineman, you get a quarterback sack, or you stop a running back in the backfield. That's like the best thing you can do. As an offensive lineman, you pancake block somebody, that's like,
Look, bro.
They keep count of that shit, actually.
Right. Pancake block.
Yeah.
Have you ever pancake blocked somebody?
No, but I've been pancake blocked.
You have?
I have, yeah.
Is it like a shock to the system when you're like on your back?
Fucking embarrassing, bro. But like, it's not, I mean, it is what it is. It kind of happens to everybody, and it's usually comes from a direction you're not seeing it. And that's even worse, but whatever.
Okay, so let's do a little. Sean, what are your thoughts on Madden?
I grew up listening to him. Like he was the thing. Like when it went away, you didn't know like what you had. Like football was never the same when he went away.
Yep.
Right. You were so used to like him and Al Michaels, or just like he brought something like a certain element to all those games that you watched They just remind me of my childhood of watching football.
I agree with that.
So comforting for John Madden to be on the game.
Right. He was like a mashed potato casserole, right? Just big, messy, warm. Like, he was going to make it all right. And then, you got to remember something, man. He was a commentator. So if you look at his life, there's 3 phases. There's him as a coach of the Oakland Raiders, right? Oakland Raiders.
Winningest coach of the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, man. To me, he's synonymous with the fucking Raiders.
Yeah.
Right.
In my head.
When the Raiders were the Raiders.
With Al. Back with Al.
Al Davis.
That's the Raider combo right there.
Right.
Those guys represent to me.
Right.
Real smash ball football.
Yep.
Real, like, tough guy. We weren't playing by all the... I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, tough, like he said. That's what the Raiders, Al Davis, that's all
Just win,
that.
baby.
What?
Just win, baby.
What is that?
Well, first of all, that was Al Davis's thing that he said, just win, baby. That's what people know about the Raiders.
Yeah.
Not the newer, younger fans of the Raiders, because
Right.
they've kind of lost that, even though his son, Mark Davis, runs the team. But, the Raiders back then, I mean, he coached the Raiders for 10 years in the late 70s, like 70s to early 80s. And ended up leading them to a Super Bowl title in 1976 or 77.
76.
To bring the Raiders to a Super Bowl title, I think that's what synonymously tied him in to that place that he's in.
For sure.
That move right there, that was like the bad boys of football, their coach winning a Super Bowl.
What was the reputation of Oakland and Oakland Raiders at that time?
Everybody talked shit on them. Everywhere they went, they were like the bad boys. They were like the dirty mess. They were like these pirate crew. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They were in black, man. They were in black. That's what it is. They were the bad guys.
Yeah, motherfuckers were not trying to be the pretty all-American Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
They were like and they carried that down. That's why there was such an appeal to Los Angeles.
Right.
When they came down here.
Right.
They brought that with them.
But Los Angeles, they normally don't have a football team, at least during this period. They had one for a brief period. How does that all work out?
Well, they did have the Rams. Yeah.
They had the Rams, but
For
I don't
how
even
long?
think they had the Rams for as long as they had the Raiders.
No, they did. They had
They
the
did?
Rams a lot longer. Yeah,
How long did they have the
are
Rams for?
I think even before they came back now, I think they were here back in the 60s.
Okay, so you had the L.A. Rams, but then they went away to St. Louis or
They
something?
went away to St. Louis.
How the fuck
in
did
the
St.
80s.
Louis take our fucking team?
I don't know.
Because they were run by Georgia Frontier, and she took the money and ran with the team. But you know what? They had already moved out of L.A. They went down to Anaheim and still
Yes.
called themselves the Los
Right,
Angeles
that was the
Rams.
thing.
And to true old school Rams fans, they didn't
Cut
like
them
that
off from
shit.
there.
Because there is a difference. Oh, it's a perfect segue.
Go
There's
ahead,
a
go
difference
ahead.
between Orange County and L.A.
What
That's
is
where
that?
a lot of your Raider fans come from too, giving up on the Rams after they did that.
True that.
And there was like no. Then when they came, we had already been. Oh, we don't have a team.
Right. So wait a second. What's the difference between Orange County and L.A. County? Go.
Well, there's a big difference.
That's a different
between,
show.
Well, okay, it's a different show.
It's a different show.
All right.
It's a different show. But
But-
there's a reason why the Angels even and
Yeah.
their owner Artie
Anaheim.
Moreno calls themselves the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, which is the biggest fuckery I've ever
Bullshit
heard. man.
ever. Fuck that bullshit.
Yeah,
man.
straight up.
That's not real Los
man.
Angeles.
It's
Fuck,
not,
man.
bro. It's not Los Angeles.
No.
Like, there's Los Angeles is
It's
big
not. It
enough.
has
And if
nothing
you
to do
can't
with LA.
fucking fit into LA, you're not LA, bro. Like,
yeah.
get in
It's
where you
not,
fit in.
man. That's
Like,
not.
what's
I
so
don't know
bad?
where Anaheim and Los Angeles come
Right, but let me
into-
ask you a question. How bad does fucking Anaheim and Orange County have to be that you move your fucking team there, but you don't even want to call
Claim
yourselves
it.
after the city?
Yeah.
Give me
Oh.
a fucking break.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. So going back to John Madden.
Everybody wants to be able to carry that LA.
True that.
That's
They wanna
true.
spread
It's
it
a
around.
premium name, and I live in shame and in shambles that I live down in Orange County, and I apologize to each and every one of you. Now, look, John Madden, early life, his first job. First of all, what you should know when he got brought into the Oakland Raiders, his rise from where he was to being a head coach of the Oakland Raiders is almost a miracle because he's the youngest coach at that time to ever be hired to run a national football team. Okay, he started out in PE. He was a PE teacher.
Could you imagine having John Madden for your PE teacher?
Right, you're playing like pickleball, and he's like, boom, right in the face. No, you just got to get back up in there and scream. I got to see spittle coming out your lip. Now, he was born in Austin, Minnesota. He moved to Daly City when he was 5. That's Northern California. That's why he's even in the area for the Raiders to even have heard of him. It's because he's moved to Daly City, which is kind of outside of San Francisco-ish.
It's connected to San Francisco.
Right, exactly. He got a football scholarship to the University of Oregon. Okay, he was a Duck. He redshirted though because he had a bum knee. Something happened. He had a bum knee. He took a year off. He went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo to play football. His knee gave out, and it was over for him at that point. He was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles.
He was. He burned out, though.
21st round, right? Knee gave out for good. He got a master's in education, lived in Pleasanton, which is not far from Concord, where old Blue Eyes and I first met. Then our honeymoon was in Walnut Creek.
So when he gets that scholarship to that school, and he failed and he fucks up with his knee, that scholarship still got to carry him through and give him an education.
Well, I don't know how it's set up then, but what happened is he got the scholarship and he got redshirted, so they put him out for a year so they wouldn't start the clock, right?
On his eligibility.
On his eligibility. And during that time, I read he was saying something to the effect of like, I didn't want to. I didn't ever saw myself in an office. I'm not an office guy, right? I'm not going to sit there and wear a tie and walk around and talk to these bumble dicks. So he's like, fuck it. I'll just drop out of Oregon. And then he got pulled into San Luis Obispo and he played. Then he got into Philadelphia. He was a 21st round draft pick for the Philadelphia Eagles before his knee finally gave out. That's not too shaps. No. We got a Philadelphia guy right here. Right, Schwartz?
Eagles fan, baby.
Eagles fan, baby. How are they doing? They're going to make the playoffs?
They might. If we win out our last 2 games, man, we got to play the fucking. I was going to call them the Redskins, but I don't want to do that.
That's I don't
Washington
give a shit
football
about
team. Oh no, I wasn't worried about you.
Yeah, good. Don't worry about me. I don't care about. I Redskin with pride.
Then we got to play the fucking Cowgirls, fucking the last game, and it's fuck both those teams all day.
All right. So then he started coaching in the '60s. While he was a PE teacher, John Madden was at Allen Hancock College, and he was an assistant football coach. 9 years later, so think about that. PE, assistant football coach at a college no motherfuckers ever heard of. John Hancock, who the fuck is that? Allen Hancock, I don't have no. Herbie Hancock, I've heard of that. 9 years later, he's the head of the Oakland Raiders. That's like a meteoric. I mean, you can't really the process now. Look at that old fuck over at the Buccaneers. How old is he before he even got a Super Bowl?
Bruce Arians?
Yeah,
he's in his 70s.
Right.
No, but John Madden initially with the Raiders, he was like a linebackers coach or something, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
He started out as a linebackers coach, but during that 9 years, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Even from there, he made it to head coach within that 9 years. So he was a linebackers coach, and then they had another coach that decided, fuck this team, because they weren't winning a lot. I'm going to go take another job somewhere else, a head coach. And out of nowhere, Al Davis says, it's John Madden. And so John Madden gets in there. And that's when he became one of the winningest coaches ever. His percentage, he won 3 out of 4 games. Yep. And that was he was the first to reach 100 games in 10 years with the same team wins of anybody. And that was at a time when there weren't as many games played in the regular season. How many do you think were played back then?
There was only 14 or 15 games played
There's 14, I think it was. So 14, and he's got that highest winning average. They had gone to the Super Bowl II, right?
Yeah.
And they lost. The Raiders lost. Then the next 8 years, they had this winningest. They had this winningest seasons and everything, right? But the issue was they would get to the playoffs and somehow they get knocked out of the playoffs. Super Bowl 11 is when they won the fucking Super Bowl, and they carried him onto the field. They carried
him off the field.
Yeah, John Madden off the field, and
which is for a coach or a player, it is probably the highest honor you can get, honored by your teammates in that way.
Yeah, and I think that I really do believe that even those images of them carrying him,
right?
I think that's what really. Because that team for some reason, like America, could buy into that blue collar team.
Oh, 100%.
He really represented that guy in that space. He was a big dude. He was burly. You know how you're like, he didn't tie his shoes. Like, he was like this kind of like football savant.
Right.
And he probably fit an exterior that a lot of guys that watch football could kind of. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. The body type.
The right time, the right team, the right persona. And this is something that is like, you can't duplicate that kind of stuff.
This
People
guy
try to.
This guy was straight up. He was one of those guys like John Madden. When you looked at his face, it looked like he was wearing a football helmet because he had a permanent crease in his eyebrows, right? And he was 6'4". Yeah. He was a big 275, 6'4", right? And he would smoke these cigars that were like 1.5 feet long, walk around, right? Untied shoes. And he really, I mean, he was a sloppy dresser.
Right.
And that was part football back then.
But, right.
It wasn't I remember reading this thing, and I put it in our chat threads about how he was saying that, and he was talking about Tom Landry. He was talking about all these other guys, right? He was with those dudes. And he was saying, like, there's a lot of coaches out there that think discipline is about, shaving and getting a haircut and wearing a suit and tie after the game, right? Keeping it clean, high and tight.
Oh, he's talking about fucking Cowboys coach.
Yeah, Tom Landry with his suit and fucking top hat and fedora on the sidelines.
Right. And John Madden said, that's bull. He said, that's not discipline. He's like, what's discipline is 3rd and 10 and you don't jump off sides on a crazy snap. That's discipline. Yep. And he's like, that type of discipline where you're looking clean after the game, that don't help you win games. And I'm all about winning. And he said, so give me a guy that looks like shit but never jumps off sides, and I'll take that guy over a pretty boy any fucking day. Yep. That's discipline.
Yeah, he was the ultimate players coach. I mean, his players at the time for the Raiders, they would have literally run through a fucking wall for
Yeah.
You know what? There was a story where there was so the Raiders were known as the bad boys. They were also, their defense was fucking hardcore. And I can't remember who it was, but one of their defensive guys hit a guy so hard that he was a paraplegic. John Madden felt so bad on the opposite team. Now, after the game, not during the game. After the game, he felt so bad about what happened to him that he routinely visited that guy with his family, with John Madden's family, and remained close to them and took care of them and brought them shit and all this other kind of stuff. He had a huge heart. And that guy said, I don't know if I have a lot. I mean, that guy, John Madden, loved the players and he really cared about me or whatever. And he helped that family through that tragedy to the best of his ability at that time. And you got to remember, that guy didn't take plane flights, right? He didn't like flying.
Nope. He was scared to death of flying and went everywhere in a bus known as the Madden Cruiser. And that shit was decked out. The guy made more money. He was able to make it pretty sweet. But, Fox and CBS, where he was at before Fox, they literally engineered their entire schedule around where he could get to in a timely manner with the Madden Cruiser.
So when he got that Super Bowl, right, shortly thereafter, he retires from coaching.
He was burnt out.
And they're on his ass. Network is on him, huh?
Oh, yeah, almost immediately.
Right.
Almost immediately. And he was like, for a year, he was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't care, and I don't.
He was built for network, dude. That guy.
Oh.
It's so fascinating that we say that now because we've got, hindsight. We can see how clear. But I think if you looked at the state of media at the time, I don't know that it would have been so clear for other people because there's two types of commentators. There's play-by-play and there's color, right? And the play-by-play, you usually last longer in a play-by-play because you're not on the hook for saying cool shit or being interesting. And a lot of guys that did color would switch over to play-by-play and to have like a more secure job. But Madden was built for color fucking commentary.
Yeah, and his broadcast partner that most will remember him with, Pat Summerall, was one of the best play-by-play guys.
Yeah, so it evened out. It averaged. It evened
They
out.
vibed so well together. I mean, and initially they talked about how, Pat Summerall wasn't really stoked with the idea of getting paired with John Madden.
Right.
And but they worked, and then they became very close.
Yeah, because those dudes are close, bro.
Oh yeah,
those dudes are like You see, they're out together and shit together.
He's the
They're-
only.
they-
John Madden's the only commentator to have commentated on every network.
Did you guys hear what Vin Scully said after John Madden passed the other day?
No.
He said he put out a tweet or something like that said that him and Summerall would be calling games in heaven from now on.
I mean,
He
great.
actually called a Super Bowl with John Madden. Vin Scully did, because Vin Scully used to
No
do all
way.
the big events. Yeah. And he talked about it being a great experience and a learning.
He didn't want to
learning
do
time.
commentary originally. Then when they approached him, he was like, I ain't going to do that. You guys are a fucking media, put me in some kind of weird chicken suit and I'm going to have to sit around and do all this bullshit. And so he said his agent begged him and said, listen, you can do 5 and then you can quit if you want. Let's just see it. But once he hit it, it was like a duck to water.
There's also something else that was going on in his broadcasting. And there's a reason that they were able to bring him all over the place. And that is that he was one of the first guys that would be broadcasting. And like you're doing play-by-play?
Yeah.
John Madden would be like, I was with so-and-so on Tuesday at his da-da-da-da-da. Or I was at and he had these relationships with all these players.
Yep.
And he'd bring that experience to the show. And you have these newscasters that didn't know how to do anything.
Right.
They weren't part of the community of football and broadcasting. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes.
He was the first time they had a guy that could actually and he'd bring on buddies that played football.
Right.
To guest appearance.
Right.
And he was able to go into locker. He was able to get access.
Right.
And tell these stories from the inside that nobody knew. And that was I think that's really what John Madden offered early on.
Right. And so in a sense, so for us, the Hard Luck Show, Steve, you're the John Madden. You've got the relationship.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know why you got to undermine when I'm complimenting you, bro. I love you, and I'm trying to compliment you.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
It's a great analogy.
Right.
It is a great analogy.
Right. Except you tie your shoes. I've seen it. But the issue is you have the relationships outside, and you're in here broadcasting, right?
Sure.
You've been
Now-
in the field,
Been
so
in
to
the
speak.
And so, right now, I think is a perfect time, since we're talking about relationships and background and the stories that John Madden could bring. Oh, Blue Eyes, you got a clip of
Sure.
him with he got on the Letterman show.
And see, that's what I'm talking about.
Right, he got on the Letterman show and he tells this fucking great story. Do I need to set it up any more than that?
The only
No,
guy other than
no.
him that's a sports announcer that's coming on that show is Howard
Cosell.
Howard Cosell.
Right.
I mean, it's like those two guys are like the only two
Right,
guys.
right. Go ahead.
Especially play nose tackle. That's why they wear those big face masks.
Now, you have another theory about facilities, locker rooms.
I really think. I seriously feel this that the more money that players make today, the more sparse their locker room should be.
Stop.
And I think
Stop. Do you hear that?
The more sparse.
The more money they make, the more sparse. Now listen, this is Art of War shit. This is Sun Tzu Art of War shit. All right, go ahead. I love that.
when you pay a guy millions of dollars, and then you have these big, thick carpets and so on, and you let him come in here, he forgets what football is all about. And they don't like to go out and play. And I've seen it happen. I really believe years ago it happened to the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, they were a great football team. Then they got Arrowhead Stadium, and they had thick carpets. They had these whirlpools of 10, 12 guys.
Well,
could get
Hank
in.
liked that. Hank Stram liked stuff like that. Good carpet and so on.
Yeah, he did. Well, talking about Hank, locker room, see, at Oakland, we believe, man, nothing. We wouldn't even put a carpet on the floor.
Yeah.
We had the floor in the towels. We'd throw some towels there and towel
Yeah.
this carpet.
Right.
But
I think he was foreshadowing the
that was one of the
pussification.
advantages I always felt that we had in Oakland, in the Oakland Coliseum, is that it was tough to come out there. We had great fans there. The other team coming out, they would really get on, really boom. And being down there below the locker rooms, it was, you know, kind of dirty and musty and stinky and so on. And
Now you're
a lot
talking.
of stuff.
Kind of like
Yeah,
King
you're talking real
Salmon's
football.
balls.
Yeah.
And our guys kind of love that.
Yeah.
You know, the Oakland
Right.
Raiders. Well, one time, we were playing the Chiefs, and
The Chiefs again.
it was the
Yeah.
day before the game, and I was walking out of our locker room, and I was going by the visiting team locker room the day before. I saw about 5 or 6 guys out there, exterminator-type guys, and I asked them what they were doing. They said, well, we have some rats. We found some rats in this locker room, in the visiting team room, and we're trying to get rid of them. I said, get rid of them. Baloney. I said, feed them. Yeah. Don't get rid of them. I swear, I wouldn't let him do it. I said, get out, we'll pay you, whatever you want. Leave the rats in the, if you found something. So now we're playing the Chiefs the next day. So I'm the host coach. So I figure, well, you got to be a good host. So I went up, and it was the Chiefs were in the locker room. This is a couple hours before the game. Right. Locker rooms before our game are very quiet. Right. So I went up and I knocked on the door and I said, I'd like to see Hank. And Hank came up, so I talked real loud, and I said, Hank, listen, we have a problem here. There's some rats in the locker room. Now, we're trying to get rid of them, Hank. We're trying to get rid of these rats. We'll do something. We're doing everything we can about this thing. But, and you can see the players, they're afraid to put their helmets on. They're checking their pants and taking them off. And, but those types of things, I think help. That's when you talk about home field advantage, that's what you're talking about. Well, that's good.
Right. So he's trying to use every strategy he can. But I think that's really fascinating that he says that, you pay a guy millions of dollars, you should put him in a fucking... It
fucking is everything.
Right. It's everything.
Bro, we have got to do a show, bro, on that topic, dude.
What topic?
It's really about staying inspired, staying hungry.
Eye of the tiger.
Yes, and how you can lose that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with
the gifts that you want. If you're not careful, they're gonna end your push.
That's why
they will slow your ass down. All of a sudden, you'll just be like, "Oh my." I gotta wake up.
Hey, that's what.
Lay in my fucking waterbed all day.
That's what Ricks and Gracie's talking about.
Yes,
he's
dude.
like, I did not get involved in all that shit because I wanted to be able to have my fucking bones in my eyes broken and still have the heart to get up and finish the goddamn fight. That's the truth. Comfort's your enemy. Never forget that. Comfort is your enemy. If you're not hungry, if you're full, you're fucked. If you're getting enough to eat, you're fucked. You're laughing. Scared little boy. Scared little boy. Oh, we're going to go to training camp, bro, where the big rats are. Big ones.
Hey, I wanted to ask if you know Schwartz. I don't know if you know or not. Yeah. Was he the first announcer that was actually a head coach?
You know what? I think so. I was going to say that when Steve was saying that, it brought that up about him having the relationships and knowing, kind of coming from the field up to the booth. Because now that's all it is.
Yeah.
And
ex-players or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's...
Now, listen.
How old... Wait, look at... Now, how old... How... Now... And I think about things like this, and you're probably starting to think about them, too. Or you will be.
Yeah.
How old... Now, how old is Madden when he died, when he passed? How
85.
85 years old, okay? Would you say... that Madden football, as we know it, right? By whatever company's making it, would you say that...
EA Sports.
Okay. Would you say that 25 years would be a good amount of time to say, you know what, that shit really started kicking off 25 years ago? That whole football thing.
Yeah.
Is that safe? I mean, really got going.
Listen.
20?
Listen.
No, I'd say 25.
Listen. Okay, you're going in a great direction because he's retired. Okay, hold on. He's commentating, right? Mm-hmm. He's got about 10 years or something like that of commentating under his belt. So he's already developed a telestrator, which, by the way, he taught a telestrator class at UC Berkeley. You could have taken a class.
At what age?
I don't fucking know. 35, 40.
Okay.
Something like that. Now listen. The thing that carried this guy through more than anything else is his passion for the thing that he was doing.
Of course, I believe it has to be. Because this guy was doing things at 70 years old, bro.
Right.
At 7, guys are cashing in their chips at my age. I talk to them every day.
Right.
They don't have no fight left in them.
Right.
They don't have no fucking nothing. They're looking away. They're looking at how quickly they can get to the couch and put their feet up.
Even though this guy did Miller Lite commercials and would run, and he was talking about fame. He's like, even when I was the Oakland Raiders head coach, right? And then I burst through the paper in like a Miller Lite commercial or whatever. He said, then I became known as the guy that ran through the paper. And he said, fame is crazy. He got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Now listen.
Boom, tough acting tonight.
He did fucking foot cream. Makes total sense. Foot spray. I used that shit. Now look,
he
it
didn't
works.
Stop. He didn't stop.
He did.
This guy's fucking 65, 70, and on to huge deals,
right?
And still making shit happen.
He got
That's fucking inspiring.
He got $150 million in 2005 to let EA Sports use his name, Madden, forever.
Which that was a fucking amazing deal that EA made.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So listen, you got to.
It was amazing for both of them.
Hey,
Oh, it was
listen.
amazing for both of them, but I think if you look at what it's going to be down the road, a lot of people don't know that he was actually on the NFL competition committee.
Wait. So if you really listen to what Chumahan just said, that's got to be the ultimate dream of anybody. Oh, we're going to pay you this enormous amount just to use your name forever, right? Or we're going to pay you X amount of money to use your music forever. Like, that's like,
do you understand?
Of course you want that to happen.
Do you understand how much work you've had to put in so that your name has that kind of value? Do you recognize that? Like everyone's like, oh, I'd love to have my name on it. Yeah, but like, how much work have you done? And who knows about it? Who knows about it? And he's written 10 books. And I think it's important to look at when Silicon Valley started to actually come up is when Madden NFL started to rise.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He came up almost at the same, right.
Like you couldn't have planned it better. Nobody knew what was
like
going to
his
happen.
professional career, not football and education. But as he started, that's when all that started.
His fame was probably at the highest level when it was just right for the real football game to get started. Because, Schwartz, before NFL Madden, what were the football games like?
10-yard fight, Tecmo Bowl. It
Bunch of
was bullshit.
Yeah.
It was bullshit. And he actually wanted to do the video game as a learning device, and it really became that. There are many people
wanted to
who
use it in the
learned-
locker room, right?
Yeah, but there were many people that literally learned specific plays.
Listen.
Oh, you
By playing
learn
the
the
game.
whole route trees.
Right.
Just from playing Madden.
Listen. And by the way, it's fucking legion how many professional players also play Madden. It's legion.
Oh,
But didn't you
for
also
sure.
say that like the thing that they use in like they use like a version of that game now in coaching?
Listen. So let me take you back. So there's a guy named Trip Hawkins. Okay. Trip Hopkins and another guy, Ibarra, his second in command, his fucking Pancho Villa, right? This dude was what they call a fanatic for Stratomatic, which is kind of like a very complicated Dungeons and Dragons meets fantasy football. It was fantasy football in its early stages. You had to roll dice and all this other shit, right? But this guy, Trip Hawkins, was into it. You know who else Trip Hawkins was? He was also employee number 68 at Apple. So he was in Apple at the ground level when Apple was becoming something that everybody would learn as a Macintosh, all that bullshit, right? And he had figured out, all right, that if he could make a real, like Weird Science, you know how like those two nerds wanted to make like a digitized chick that would aerobicize and breathe and like be real? He was trying to figure that out for football. So as he was putting it together, now they went through lots of different guys to kind of put their name on it, right? The guy that they wanted, let's see if I think
Bill Walsh was one of them.
Hold on, I think I got it right here. Let me see if I can find it. I made a fucking ton of fucking notes, bro.
You'd hate to be that guy.
Right.
Oh, I was almost Madden, but
they went to Lamar Hunt of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep, Hunt.
Okay, and he was offered a chance to get in, and he told them to go blow fucking smoke up their ass.
His family owns the Chiefs.
And,
his family owns the.
And they started the AFL, which ran alongside the NFL, and they came together.
And then they offered, he wanted Joe Montana next. Now you got to remember, Hawkins is a Bay Area guy, right? He's at Apple, San Mateo, and he wants Montana, who at that time was legend. I mean, he's still a legend, but he was famous, right? Montana was already signed up with Atari. So the next guy that they went after was John Madden, who was also in Pleasanton in the Bay Area. So you got to remember, think about that. Like this dude, all of the things that were conspiring to make a game like John Madden, computing and football.
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened anywhere else but Northern California.
100%.
Right.
Now, Madden, just like the guys just said, Madden was like, I want to make a coaching simulation game, like a real one.
He had all the tech people in his fucking
of the state.
He
wanted to make, and he thought that would be real cool if we could do it. And so he said, yes, let's go. right?
If you'll help me make this thing.
And he was offered, on top of whatever he was paid at those early days, because the early days in like 1992 or whatever, I don't know what the initial upfront money was for him, but they offered him stock options of EA Sports at $7. And he said the stupidest decision he ever made in his life was that he didn't buy any of the stock. He said that was the dumbest decision I've ever made. So that lets you know where Madden's head was at. He was really interested in creating a computerized coaching simulation, and he didn't really still have an understanding of how big video games were going to become.
They actually came to him in the production phase, like the early phases of producing that video game, and they said, hey, we got a problem. We can't really get 11 versus 11 on the field.
And he said, no dice.
Yep.
They said, we can do 7-on-7. He said, 7-on-7 ain't fucking football.
Yep.
Right.
You either get 22 motherfuckers on that field or there's no dice. I don't give a shit. That's not football.
Right.
That's not football. And Ibarra, however you say his name, Ybarra, Ibarra, that guy's job was to code the 22. And he logged in 18-hour days sweating his fucking guts out, cranking and putting all that information in. And they used John Madden's playbook. And John Madden, as soon as he was on, was explaining to them all the variables for football. Rain, sea level, is the ground
Right.
at sea level or higher? All that bullshit, right? And he started drawing fucking plays right there. And those hand-drawn sketches are in frames up at EA Sports. That game, up to date, is reported to have made $4 billion.
I'm surprised it's not more, to be honest.
I think it is more, because
Yeah.
I read that and I'm like, that sounds a little low. And so the more he got in, the more he drove these guys to make this thing as
Fucking
real as
incredible
possible.
as fuck,
First
dude.
of all,
It's
not only
incredible
that, people have
story,
made
bro.
money on the game. They have, for many years now, they have big money tournaments.
Oh, huge.
For people who
Fucking
play
incredible.
Madden. I mean, dude, going back in the early 90s, I used to fucking take people's money daily off that shit. But it's, and a lot of people make money playing, that's a different topic because they do it on a lot of video games now. But
Right.
Madden was really the first that they started doing that.
Yeah.
Madden was also a smoker. He smoked cigarettes. He didn't want people to really notice that, so he didn't smoke like... Go ahead.
You know what I heard is he was given an interview and he said that when he was playing for Philadelphia and he got hurt, that when he was hurt and rehabbing, one of his teammates was watching film. And he was like, why are you watching film? And he started watching film and he said that as soon as the guy started explaining what was going on, he completely understood the whole field.
Right.
And that he fell in love with the game again. So I think he really owes a lot of his career to getting hurt. Because if he hadn't gotten hurt, he wouldn't have been a head coach.
You know what, man? There's a lot of stories like that in not just football, but every sport, that because they had an injury, maybe they were a middling player. I mean, he wasn't a stud player. He was a middling player forced to go on the sidelines and look at the game from a different point of view.
Right.
And he really, I'm sure that's where he honed his coaching in, his teaching style, and eventually his broadcasting style.
Raiders.
And his broadcasting style was really like straightforward, like the whole boom, right? There's people who've theorized and everything, but John Madden just said, look, I wanted to talk like the way football players talk, the way we talk down on the field in the locker room. I want it to be straightforward and have impact.
There's something about a certain type of, like when you were saying body type.
Yeah.
There's like subconsciously, people are already going to look to a guy that's taller to lead.
Right.
Okay. There's things going on that we don't even know that we're paying attention to.
Sure.
And I'm telling you that he really represented, or was the guy that comes back to the pad with his buddies and the 12-pack of beer, the guy that busts his ass, Monday through Friday so he can watch a ball game. That guy wanted to be talked to by him. Get what I'm saying? Like, he's the guy that they wanted. It made sense, bro. And I don't know what you even call that or how you package that, but he embodied that, man. And I think that people saw the value in that.
I was talking to Chewy on the phone, and he said that Madden was really inviting to all, like, middle America and like coastal Americas, like the liberal parts.
Right.
There's something about the coach, like the coach from Green Bay, the coach from Green Bay, Vince Lombardi.
Right.
There was something about him that people associated at that time with football. He was that guy, you know.
Still associate Lombardi with it.
Right.
There's I don't know, man. It's the kind of like the crazy and the fucking cigar and the fucking and he played football. Like I don't know, man. But there's certain people take on these positions in life and they fit very well, and people become invested in them. That's who they identify synonymously with a certain thing.
I'm reading Scottie Pippen's book right now.
Oh, Jesus. I'd love to know what you think about that when you're done with it.
Okay. And he says, you know, that what makes a great coach, because he's talking about Phil Jackson. Mm-hmm. He says, what makes a great coach is that the players want to play for the coach.
Yes. I think that's ultimately when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
That is either, if that's happening, then the guys are putting in that type of effort, then they're champions or not.
Right.
They're not coming up with that on their own, man. One thing about every championship team, I would say if you sat them all down, they have an affinity or something for the coach that goes far beyond the field. Remember he was saying that they'd run, like motherfuckers will beat somebody's ass over their coach.
Right.
When you have that type of loyalty,
right,
and the coach has an objective,
yeah,
then he knows how to make that work, right? You know how to make
going
that
back
work.
to the art of war, that's part of those 5 factors of generalship that he's talking about. And if you get the Art of War book, this is a plug, I don't give a fuck. If you get that book and learn about it, you'll learn, like, this applies to football, this applies to everything in life, which is your team has to want to fight for you.
Brother, it's the difference between having a fight and you're fighting for something you're right in, or you're fighting and you really shouldn't be in the fight.
Right.
You know the difference? When you're fighting for something that you believe in, there's a different type of
energy,
dude. And you know, I think that we also find that in other situations that might not be like team sports, but might include stuff like war.
Sure.
Anything physical.
How they're religious to their captain, you know, or their, you know, whoever's commanding. You know.
Well, that's why some generals will run, like George Washington or fucking Julius Caesar. They'll run to the front when the fighting gets tough. They'll expose themselves to fucking risk and death in order to show the men that he's willing to fight. There's the part of Madden being a big guy and played fucking football. That's right.
There's a huge piece of that.
Yes.
That's going to get the attention of the guys on the field.
He knows what it's
you're
like.
really one of us.
Right.
So I think part of it all starts there.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And from there, you build upon it. But you're right, man. And it's, man, there's something deep in playing for a coach. But there's a lot to that, dude. It's like, that's what we don't understand about Madden. Because you could take this all into like management skills. How you talk to, how do you get fucking 75 guys on a staff? Let's just say, how do you get 100 guys to love you and want to go to battle for you? How do you do that? What's the psychology? How do you come in and start relationships with 100 people that don't know you? And now you're going to get them to love you. What are you doing? You're doing something. And then you're going to get the whole world to get behind you.
The whole
on the
world.
Same page.
Absolutely.
So what is it that he embodied as a man? You know, I think that's the big question. And I think that's the specialness about this guy, why we're having this talk right now. And you can't put your finger on it, but yet you know it.
Sean, what do you think this man embodies that was able to be so broadly appealing and inspiring?
And successful at it.
He didn't drink.
I'd love to hear what his players
He didn't drink, by the way, you guys.
I'm just letting you know. He wasn't. He sold beer, but he didn't really drink that much beer at all.
That might have sucked cock, too. You know, but, you know, we don't know.
No, I don't think so. I'm just letting you know. He didn't drink.
He might have sucked a cock, bro. I know you don't think so, but I think so.
Well, I mean, we can't ask him now.
No, I'm just joking. But, no, he didn't drink.
On this day that we were lionizing,
there's a lot of guys that
somehow
don't drink and that don't do what he does. So.
Oh, that's true. I'm saying that's one of the factors. Sean, what else?
Okay.
I was just going to say, I'd love to hear what his players said about it.
His play? I mean, a lot
we
of
could
players.
listen to that.
Yeah.
Well, then, wait. Here's what I'm getting at. Chumahan. The fact that he makes that statement about that clip, how you yourself start getting a little bit too cushy.
Yes.
Somehow, if he's talking about that, somewhere in him, he's applying that because he believes that.
Yeah.
And it would make sense because he produced for so long so much that there was probably something that he was doing to keep himself.
Well, one of the other things that's known about him was that he was an avid reader, constantly reading.
God, man, he's already on to two things just like Chumahan. Don't drink. Avid reader.
Or he's also 6'4". I'm 5'6".
6'4".
Listen,
You multiply that by 2
You're
and
6'4".
you're there.
I could be. Listen, but that's fantasy talk. That's fantasy talk. Now listen, look. The other
I don't
thing,
play fantasy football.
So then he also, before he had the RV, he was riding in trains. Trip Hawkins at EA Sports, they pitched him the NFL game on a train between Denver and the Bay Area. And now when he would be on a train, he'd get up late, eat a brunch. He liked to mix lunch and breakfast.
Right, lobster rolls and for breakfast.
Right, exactly. Dipping them in fucking
I like that too, butter.
poison sauce, all that crazy shit, right? Then he would fucking get up and he'd go around. Now, one of the other things he loved to do was talk to regular people, just talk.
Sure.
He would fucking go up and down these cars, right? And he said, when you're on a train, time has no meaning.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
And he would have this giant cigar and he'd walk around with untied shoes up and down this fucking train.
And nobody was telling him, "Oh my God, you got to take that cigar outside."
Well, that was
You're gonna
back.
get us sick. Oh God.
No,
Right.
that was maybe back when you could still smoke in places.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Even train cars.
Right.
Yeah, and he would even go to the drink car, but he wouldn't drink, and he'd hang out and just talk to fucking people all over the place. And for him, his train was a big office. He would prepare for commentating. He would write notes and think about shit and everything, and that would, which would lead him to doing some of the extra behind the scenes stuff that almost only he could get away with. Like, I feel like if somebody showed up and they were like trying to do a telestrator marking on like on Troy Aikman's face about how he can't grow a beard, right?
Classic.
He draws on his chin. He's like, got a little peach fuzz right there. Nothing up here. See, if you do that, you got to give up. I don't think anybody other than John Madden could actually get away with using. How expensive do you think network time is at that time? Seconds. How much did they
Fucking expensive as fuck.
They would go down a weird rabbit hole with John Madden because it was gold. He
Yeah,
could waste
even his garbage was gold.
30 seconds on a fucking blimp. He would talk about blimp and wonder, why the fuck is the box underneath? Why would you put it on top?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But it was gold.
$30 million. But
It's crazy, right?
yeah. So I just felt like, and you felt like, and we felt like, and the team felt like, we're all football fans. We're coming up to Super Bowl Sunday pretty soon here, and that we should give some sort of discussion about a legend.
A tribute.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, a
The
tribute.
GOAT.
Right.
The GOAT.
The
The
GOAT.
GOAT. Without question.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and then Schwartz, you said that was number one in the celebrity death pool. Who else are the other two?
Well, we had Betty White
Yep.
passed away, and then we had
R.I.P. to Betty
Dan
White.
Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, R.I.P. to Betty White.
She was
And who
fine.
else?
Do you ever see her?
Days short of her 100th birthday.
109th, I thought.
No,
100. She was
99.
99.
Okay.
But she made it to fucking New Year.
Yeah.
She did.
New Year's Eve. New
Yeah,
Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
She was the last of the cast.
Big shout out to my
Golden
aunt.
Girls?
Yeah.
Big shout out to my Aunt Bernice. My Aunt Bernice is 106.
Wow.
Yeah.
100
Big
shout
shout
out.
out to Aunt Bernice.
Shout out to
Wow.
Aunt Bernice. I love you.
She beat out Betty White.
Yeah. Well,
You
listen.
ever seen photos of Betty White when she was young?
Yeah, she was hot.
She was
Yeah,
fucking
she looked like
hot.
Lana Turner. You know, we're going to get on that. We're going to get on this show because we talked over. This was a great episode, by the way, guys. Great episode. We topped over some things that we are going to talk about, man. And we're going to talk about some stuff, man.
We should do a cigar show.
Because back to you know, you always say, like, we know people that can do stuff for a month. We know some people that can even pull off 45 days.
Oh, or
2 months they can do real good.
they might even be able to do 5 years.
But can you go 85 and not stop?
That's Smash Mouth football.
This motherfucker probably
Football.
did more in his second half of his life than he did in his first.
Think about this, man.
This guy was a mogul starting to really tear shit apart at 50.
Yep.
Oh, easily.
Think about that. And another one is that guy that's supposed to be one of the wealthiest guys in the world. He didn't start making money until he's 51. 90% of his Warren Buffett.
Right.
95% of his wealth.
Schwartz, there's hope for you, brother.
There's hope for me too.
And me too.
Yeah.
And Sean.
And Sean too.
And
Ali too.
Ali's not even there yet. He's
Yeah,
still 22.
man,
Ali's got all the time.
You know what I want to do is, I just hope that, like Ali, when you're on some huge set,
yeah,
calling all the shots,
right, and we want to come down
and we want to
see
come,
you.
will you be like, hey man, these are my friends that get to walk around the set?
Look,
Right?
Ali's like,
you won't
why-
forget about us.
Well, he looked at you like, why you insulted me, brother?
All right, good.
And by the way, Ali, excellent on the timing today, brother. Thank you.
Good job.
Showed
Thank you,
up.
sure.
Good job, Schwartz, this
Yeah.
week on your fucking pre-interviews and all that stuff. You did good work.
Good job, Schwartz.
Good job.
Thank you.
Oh, Blue Eye.
Schwartz, Blue Eyes are always on it.
Always on it.
Chumahan
Always
on
on
it.
it. Steve,
Listen,
please, come on.
I think together.
El Presidente.
I think together,
Godfather.
guys, everybody, one with this is that we're hoping to move into the new year and continue to build greater and greater content to share with you guys.
And
Let's have a great 22.
And may your first child be
a masculine one.
child.
Adios, amigos.
All right,
The Hard Luck Show.
Look, bro. Hey, I'm like a magician. I'm like, shit, it's like Twilight Zone. I might go in and might not come out, so you know.